Okay, today we're looking at properties of equalities 4-1 on page 96. How can you keep an equation balanced? So first let's look at what an equation is. An equation is a sentence this is a number sentence. It's a sentence that uses an equal sign to show that two expressions have the same value. So here's our equation down here. And basically it's saying that I have an expression on this side and I have an expression on this side. So I have 5 plus 3 is one expression. I have my equal sign, and then the other expression on the other side, which is 8. And I have my equal sign showing that these are equal or have the same value. So what they want you to do is they want you to think of an equation as a pan balance. In order to keep the pans balanced, you have to do the same thing to both sides. So in order for 5 plus 3, the left side of my pan balance, to stay equal to 8, if I do something to this side, 5 plus 3, then I must also do something, the same thing, to this side. So there are different properties of equality in order to keep my expressions equal, or my pan balanced, that will work. So the first one is the addition property of equality. So with the addition property of equality, if you add the same amount to both sides of an equation, they will still be equal. So let's look over here. They have 5 plus 3, which is what we had before, and 8. Okay, now we know that's equal. So what did they do? Well, here's my pan balance, right? My equal sign is my balance. On the left side they added 2, and on the right side they added 2. So they added the same amount to both sides of the pan balance, keeping it equal. We know 5 plus 3 is 8, and plus 2 it's going to be 10. Well, 8 plus 2 is 10, so both sides are still equal. Why? Because they added the same amount to each side. So it could be any amount. I could have added 10 to both sides. I could have added 50, a million. It wouldn't matter as long as they would be the same amount. Okay, let's look at another property of equality. Okay, we also have the subtraction property of equality, which says pretty much the same thing. You can subtract the same amount from both sides of an equation. So looking at the same equation here, we have 5 plus 3, our pan balance equal sign, 8. And we know the left side equals the right side. If we want to take away or subtract the same amount from both sides, both sides will still be equal, or the equation will be balanced. So 8 minus 2 will be 6. 8 minus 2 would still be 6. So the expression is still equal. So again, I could subtract any amount from this side. If it was, 100, 1,000, as long as I did it the same thing from this side. Okay, I have to subtract the same amount for the equation to be equal still. All right, let's look at another property of equality. All right, and then we have the multiplication property of equality, and that says in an expression like 5 plus 3 equals 8, I can multiply both sides of the equation by the same non-zero amount, so any number that's not 0, and again, both sides would be balanced. So here I have the same expression, and I've multiplied 2 to it, and I'm still equal because on this side, I did the same thing. I multiplied 2 to it also. So basically 8 times 2 over here and 8 times 2 over here, both are going to be 16. I can multiply by 10, I can multiply by 70, 77, however much. It would still, as long as I did the same thing on the left side as I do on the right side, the sides will be balanced and they will be equal. Okay, and last but not least, we have this division property of equality, which says if you have an equation such as 5 plus 3 equals 8, you can divide both sides of the equation by the same non-zero amount and they will still be equal. So here's our 5 plus 3 and our 8, our balance sign, and what do we do to the left side? Divided by 2. And what did we do to the right side? We divided by 2. So instead of being 8 now, both sides would equal 4, but they would still be equal as long as we're dividing by the same number on the left side that we are on the right side. Okay, let's go back to page 96. All right, let's look at the other examples of this addition property of equality. We've got our expressions, our equation with the expression 12 plus 18 equals 30. So, we know this is true. Now, does 12 plus 18, here we go, equals 30. On this side now we've added plus 5, and on this side we've added plus 5. So is it equal? Are we still balanced here? 12 plus 18 plus 5, does that equal 30 plus 5? Yes. Why? Because the same number, 5, was added to both sides of the equation. So 5 was added to the left side and it was also added to the right side. So this equation would remain equal. Now let's look over here at the division problem. Now they want to know if this expression 4x, which we know means 4 times a number x, okay, and we have is equal to 20. So here's our equation, 4x is equal to 20. Does this work over here on this right side? 4x divided by 4, is it equal to 20 divided by 5? Well, let's look at this again. On the left side now, we've divided by 4. But on the right side, we've divided by 5. Because we have not divided by the same number, this is no longer going to be an equal equation. This is not going to work. So both sides have to be divided by the same number. Alright, for your homework, I want you to go ahead and work through the guided practice. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and also go ahead and answer these questions 5 and 6 and bring them to class tomorrow with a question. See you tomorrow.